Tuesday, where we try out a new floral resin trend. And today we're trying out resin-dipped earrings with real flowers. Are you excited?
Yeah, let's see how these turn out.
This is not something that we would usually do in our business. We preserve wedding bouquets for a living, and we use epoxy resin. So today we're going to be using UV resin and some cool UV tools to cure the resin. Yep. We're going to make earrings. Today we're going to be using two different types of tools. We have a UV torch that we bought from Just Resin here in Australia. We also have a UV light, a UV lamp that we bought from Let's Resin from Amazon. Some cute little flowers here. We decided to be a little bit extra and dry our own flowers from scratch. You can buy flowers from China. They all look the same. They're just pressed and dried and already done if you want a quicker option. But we decided we would get our own flowers, grow our own flowers, dry our own flowers, and we didn't press any.
No,
because
these
we
ones
don't
aren't
have
pressed.
time. But these are 3D dried in silica sand.
For about a month and a half.
Yeah, cool. We don't have a lot of fancy earring stuff just because this is an experiment. It's something for fun. I didn't want to spend like hundreds of dollars on like beads and earring parts and whatever, but we do have a few basic things to make some cute earrings out of. So let's get into it.
Let's do this.
Okay.
Okay, so the idea that I'm thinking is I want a dark cup so that my UV resin doesn't cure while I'm using it. So I've got just a little sauce container, and I had a little mold wrapped in a nitrile glove. As you can see, this is top level materials. And then when I'm not using the stuff, I've got another box that I can just throw over the top. Tamsin has picked out these orchid earrings first because they're not the prettiest ones.
They're okay. Like, I think they'd be good for a good test run. Like, if it's good, it's good. And then if it's bad, well, oh well.
These don't really fit into my little container, so they'll have to go into the sauce container. The only kind of clips I've got available to me at the moment are either tweezers or pegs. And the pegs aren't working overly well.
Peg. So you're using tweezers?
I think I'll use the tweezers,
okay.
Which means I'm going to have to hold it in place when it's curing.
Mm-hmm.
But I should be able to dip it. So if the resin is in here, I'll be able to dip it, but then I might have to turn it this way during the curing. It'll be interesting to see if they'll hold their shape enough to go get cured or if they'll end up all limp. If they end up all limp, then we're going to have to do some sort of pre-coat first before we do the full dip. Just maybe try and do some sort of drips first and then cure these initial drips. Enough to kind of not drip, so now I can put the earrings like that. So with that one over there, I did a little bit of a pre-coat. I'm just wondering if
this one, are you just gonna like balls to the wall?
Yeah, this one I might just drown it a bit.
Okay. It's pretty sturdy.
It is. It's a lot sturdier than I thought it would be.
Do you think maybe that's because it's like a small one? Whereas if you did like a really big orchid, it would be floppier?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. We have some like bigger ones. So let me do a size comparison while you're doing that. So the one that Valdis is doing is like this size, but then we also have this size, which is still not a full-size orchid. This is still a small orchid in comparison to the ones we would get in like a bridal bouquet. It's still little. What did you just do?
I was trying to put this stem, attach it to a peg so I don't have to hold it right next to the UV light.
And you broke it.
I broke the stem.
What did you do?
I broke the stem.
You broke it. I broke the tip. He broke it. Shake it. Shake, 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 shake it. Okay. Can you show us your peg?
My peg.
What's the setup?
I finally got a peg attached to the stem.
What's the advantage of the peg?
It means I don't have to hold my hand.
Oh,
this
in
whole
the
time.
machine.
In the machine the whole time.
Don't look into the light. How long are you doing this for? 2 minutes?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Okay, sure. Okay, so your flower's just like sitting in the cup now.
Yep, so my flower is submerged now. So this will be the first actual dip. And then I think I want 2 coats of dip. But I want to grab it in such a way that, there we go, my tweezers aren't touching the flower.
So I wonder if we're gonna have like drippy issues. Are you just gonna hold it there and let all of it drip off, or are you gonna?
I think so, yeah.
Like if you let the excess sit there, it is gonna look really like chunky with resin, you know, like whereas you want that thin coat.
Yeah, because this is already so thick as well.
Yeah. I'm literally just like donk, donk.
What you might want pour this over the back.
Okay. The stem's like slightly too thin for the peg.
Yeah, so what you might want to do in the future is glue a toothpick to the end of the stem.
This is truly the chaos.
You gotta get it in the cup still, though.
I'm trying. Uh-oh, there's like petals falling off everywhere.
Yeah, so you gotta take your time. So I had this drip, trying to Stanley knife it off, but as I'm cutting it off, it's also peeling the resin away from the flower.
Oh, lame. Hair clip. Are we seeing the vision? Final verdicts. We're talking about final verdict in the car because we just don't have a chance to be together at the same time. So we're going somewhere or doing something. So what was your thoughts on making the resin dipped earrings? Pros?
I like the long cure time for the UV resin.
The long cure time
as in
or short
like,
cure time?
Well, you got the benefit of both. So if you're doing it out of the sun.
You mean like working time?
Working time, yes.
Long working time.
Long working time, and then you can cure it quite quickly, compared to non-yellowing resin, which has a much shorter working time. So there's that benefit to it.
Long working time if you keep it out of UV light or sunlight. The other pro for me is like it took a long time to do, but actually like you can make a pair of earrings in a day rather than epoxy resin taking 24 hours to be touch dry generally, and then like a full cure in 30 days. You've got that full cure in minutes, which is really cool.
You've actually got finished pieces by the end of the day.
Yeah, and you can assemble them like straight after, which is really cool. I like that. Cons for me, I don't like how fiddly and messy it is. Like epoxy resin, you mix up in your cup and then you pour it into a mold, or you pour it onto your thing. UV resin can get really, really messy, and then you've got to cure it. So like if you drip some on the table or you drip some on the floor or whatever, or like your clothes, then you've got to somehow cure it.
Yeah, you got to go around with the UV light, find every drop, otherwise it's going to be sticky
forever. I hate that.
Some additional cons: UV resin is expensive, even more expensive than non-yellowing resin. It's ridiculous. And if you're wanting to turn it into a business, each pair of earrings actually takes a long time to make.
Yeah, it took us really long time. It took us like 2 hours, maybe more, to make like 2 to 3 pairs of earrings.
Something like that. If you're wanting to do this as a business, it'd be more beneficial to use other types of resin, so that you can output maybe like 50 pairs of earrings in a day. They're not cured in that end of that day, but they're poured, and you can assemble them in front of a TV later.
Yeah. When we've used UV resin in the past, I found that the clarity is just not quite as nice as epoxy resin. You can't tell on dipped flowers like this, but if you're doing it in a mold, I just find the clarity to be a bit nicer.
Also, if you have certain flowers where certain parts of it can't see the sunlight, say for instance we were dipping gerbera. Yeah, so gerberas have lots of petals, and not all those petals were seeing, not all aspects of that flower were seeing the light, and so we still had bendy petals at the end of the session because they weren't cured. They couldn't get the light to them.
The other con for me is I don't know what these are going to look like in like 2 months time. I saw a TikTok where a girl said that her orchid earring she did went moldy. There is every chance that that's going to happen to these, and so I would be a bit nervous selling these to customers not knowing what's going to happen in like 2-6 months time, a year or whatever. That makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Whoa. Let me know what you think of the flower dipped earring trend. I personally love it. I think it's really cool, but I do think that it's a little bit of a fad.